You know guys, here on the channel, as you guys know, I am a Call of Duty channel at heart. I'm a Call of Duty player, you can even call me a Call of Duty fan, I don't really care. But what you're watching in the background is not COD, it's Battlefield 6, because currently, this is the game of my choice. This is the superior game, and it's almost been a week since launch, and you already know on the timeline, all you're gonna see from the Call of Duty news accounts and all the Call of Duty fanboys in the comments section and anywhere else making videos, you're gonna see nothing but supreme atomic copium. No! Alright, these fanboys will stop at nothing to try to discredit Battlefield 6, and when they try to use numbers to back that up, I just think it's fucking hilarious given the fact that they seemingly don't care about numbers when it comes to Call of Duty and when we criticize that, but all of a sudden, it's different, and we're gonna address it. And guys, before we get into that, I'm gonna need you to Batista bomb the fucking like button right now and subscribe if you're new, guys. We're on the way to 70,000 subscribers down in the comments below. Hashtag F7. And again, at 65K, we're gonna drop a free copy of Battlefield 6. But guys, without further ado, let's check out this tweet from Battlefield Bulletin. This is really where everything's stemming from. Breaking. According to Alinea Analytics, Battlefield 6 has already sold more than 6.5 million copies in just 4 days. The game has generated over $350 million in revenue. Steam accounts for 65.7% of total sales, with over 3.5 million copies sold and generating more than $220 million in revenue. PlayStation 5 makes up 23.7% of sales, with more than 1.5 million copies sold, and Xbox Series X and S accounts for 19.6%, selling over 1.2 million copies. Now, here's the thing, right? These numbers, in my opinion, they sound fucking fantastic, especially for a Battlefield game. But before I even get to talking about why this data matters, or when I start comparing it to Call of Duty, which is what this whole video is about, please understand that these analytics are simply projections and they are not yet confirmed or validated, especially not when you consider the fact that when you add up all of these percentages, you get something like 109%, which statistically doesn't make any fucking sense anyways, but I'm not discounting the information here, especially not when there's updated numbers that actually shows that Steam has 56.7% of the sales, which then, yes, does add up to 100%, but we're still missing the EA app, which I'm not saying is going to contribute that much, but just take this data with a grain of salt until things are fully confirmed. Now, again, this is not going to be a Battlefield review, of course, that's coming out very, very soon. It might come out tomorrow for all you guys know. This video's intent is not to overly glaze Battlefield 6 and take a shit on Call of Duty, because admittedly, I have critiques of Battlefield 6 and I have positivity to spread about Call of Duty, but the problem here is when you see this data, obviously, especially as a Battlefield fan, you're going to look at this and say, wow, this actually looks good. It's very well deserved. It looks extremely successful. Well, you see, the Call of Duty fans are not enjoying this piece of information whatsoever. As a matter of fact, they're out here essentially discrediting the fact that this game might outperform Call of Duty this year. On top of that, they're still thinking that Call of Duty is gonna over-succeed and that Battlefield 6 virtually did nothing, which is all sorts of fucking cap, because when you look at the biggest change to happen in Call of Duty, which was the reduced SBMM and no disbanding lobbies and the possible rotational aim assist changes, all of those came after the beta, right before Battlefield 6 launched, and majority of those changes are already things that exist in Battlefield 6. We talk a lot about competition here, and I just want to give everybody the answer and the solution right up front. Guys, if Battlefield 6 were to literally have a player count of 0 starting tomorrow, please understand that Battlefield 6 has not only already won, but anybody in the Call of Duty community that's talking shit about Battlefield 6, understand that Call of Duty's experience has just been enhanced and improved because of that game's existence, because of its success. All of these beautiful changes that you like about Call of Duty, every single time you gooch-licking fanboys come out here talking about, oh, you're just hating for views, man, Call of Duty's so good, man, you're just looking for things to complain about, I've never seen a woman in my life. The reason you think we have nothing to complain about is because Battlefield 6 has literally slapped those fucking complaints away from Call of Duty.
Turn that head, boy!
They have done Call of Duty the biggest fucking favor already by saving the game that's about to come out. The game's projections were looking like fucking dog shit. When you look at the Steam player counts, which we're gonna address a lot of that right now. When you look at the PlayStation pre-orders, Battlefield 6 was doing significantly better than Call of Duty. Now that Call of Duty has made these changes to compete with Battlefield 6, yeah, you know what? There is a chance that Call of Duty outperforms Battlefield 6 at this point. In which case, Call of Duty's success, as well as your experience, have both been altered because of Battlefield 6. Now, that doesn't take away from the fact that EA developers say that Battlefield 6 player count set a new peak record on Sunday across all platforms. Guys, even though you saw that peak player count on Steam of like 750,000 within the first day, which is absolutely fucking madness, that peak amount of players is steadily increasing and still increasing. So the argument that Battlefield 6 is just gonna fall off very, very soon, it's already cap. That's already being disproved. But there's more cope out here, guys. There's cope that even though Battlefield 6 has done something fantastic, that Call of Duty is still going to overperform and over-succeed above it. For example, this is a tweet that comes out from the Ghost of Hope. Seeing those supposed Battlefield 6 sales numbers makes me wonder, given the SBMM changes, if Activision thought it was going to sell a lot better, just like most of us did. It's nothing to scoff at when comparing to past Battlefields, but it is far from destroying COD numbers. This is what impresses me about the Call of Duty fan base, guys, is the mental gymnastics from all of the fanboys to try to paint the picture that Call of Duty is literally unstoppable, which already has been disproven, but let's talk about it with numbers, right? When you talk about Steam player counts, anytime there's a dip, anytime there's an increase, anytime that number looks low, it looks high, the meaning and purpose of the Steam charts literally changes depending on which angle you look at it from the Call of Duty perspective. If the number looks low, it doesn't matter, it doesn't count, it's a minority of the player base, so it doesn't fucking count at all, which basic statistics and trends will literally tell you that that's not the case. But when the number looks good and it's high and it's increasing, all of a sudden, those Steam charts do count once again. The biggest reason for all of this cope is the fact that people seemingly think Call of Duty Steam charts literally account for like, I've heard different numbers here, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I've heard 1%, I've heard 0.1%, I've heard 5%, I've heard 20%, I've heard 10%. You wanna know why nobody has the answer to what the percentage actually is? It's because Activision will never fucking release that information. All of this basis that you guys have about why Steam charts don't matter, you do not have the answer to validate that because you don't know. One day you tell me it's 10% of the player count, which means that the overall player count would be like 7 million or some shit, and sometimes you guys tell me it accounts for 1%, which would make the player count like 70 million. You motherfuckers don't know, and that's the problem, is that when you look at the Battlefield numbers, that 750,000 player count was day number 1. Now that it's been like several days, almost a week, and more people have purchased, and yes, there's gonna be people that refund, of course, and after the tweet that I showed you from the Battlefield developer saying that on Sunday they reached a new peak amount of players in total, that number is going to steadily increase. The number of copies sold and those percentages, they're going to steadily increase over time. As of right now, it says there's 6.5 million copies sold between Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation, and over $350 million in revenue up until a couple of days ago. Obviously, both of those numbers have increased. And somehow, from the Call of Duty fanboy perspective, these numbers are bad. Or they are far from destroying Call of Duty type of numbers. I mean, look at this shit. Battlefield 6 sold 6.5 million copies, while at the very least, COD sells around 10 million copies. Ghost of Hope says the Battlefield 6 numbers is from the first 4 days, but yeah, COD usually has around 10 million by then. Oh, really? But we're not even done yet, guys. Let's tie a beautiful bow over this. This comes out from Charlie Intel's personal account. I am surprised EA has yet to announce any Battlefield 6 sales data. It's probably gonna happen after tomorrow. I mean, it's first week sales projections type of thing, right? Like, that's very common. But he responds to something JGod said by saying, they gotta do $1 billion in revenue in 10 days to beat MW2. And look at these guys laughing it off. Oh my god, they're not gonna destroy Call of Duty. First of all, we just moved the goalpost because now instead of having to beat what Call of Duty does today, they gotta beat whatever Call of Duty did like 3-4 years ago with the most successful Call of Duty of all fucking time, due to a bunch of nostalgia bait, of course, with a game that fucking flopped almost immediately after. But that's besides the point. They're moving the goalpost, whatever. That's just basic Call of Duty fanboy logic. But this whole notion that they're not destroying Call of Duty because They're not matching their revenue or player counts, which are things that are yet to be determined anyways, for this year in particular. It begs the question, if Activision didn't think that Battlefield 6 was going to fucking mollywop it, then why the fuck have they gone out of their way to make so many changes for the community? For the community in Call of Duty. They're not making these changes to pull in new players, they're making these changes for the core fan base that is already here. It makes you wonder, fucking why? This is where critical thinking meets reality. Because a lot of the people playing Battlefield 6 are from where? Of course there's the Battlefield community that's gonna hold it down no matter what. But how many people are making the shift from Call of Duty to Battlefield? And your next cope might be that when Call of Duty comes out, that those people that are playing Battlefield 6 are gonna go back to Call of Duty, which very may well happen. But it doesn't change the fucking fact, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end shit off. The reason these Call of Duty fans are gonna go from Battlefield back to Call of Duty is not because Call of Duty is amazing and it's untouchable, it's unstoppable. It's because Battlefield 6 has already forced Activision's hand to make the changes that would benefit those people in particular. The people who are on the fence about going back to Call of Duty or not. They made the change because of Battlefield 6 that would benefit those people from sticking on Battlefield 6. That's called fucking competition. So when you talk about, it's not destroying Call of Duty,
shut the fuck up, bitch.
Understand what Call of Duty has been for the last 4, 5, 6 years that is preventing those people from Call of Duty from continuing to play that game without any fucking changes. The Call of Duty fans are the ones that are saying that starting with Black Ops 7, there's a new era called the no SBMM era, or they're calling MW 2019 through Black Ops 6 the SBMM era of Call of Duty. I call it the Dark Ages of COD. That picture of Call of Duty as you knew it from MW 2019 to Black Ops 6, it's been fucking destroyed. Those core foundational elements of disbanding lobbies and SBMM out the fucking ass, OPS, aim assist, hackers and cheaters everywhere, that part of Call of Duty, that existence, it's been fucking destroyed by Battlefield 6. So when you enter this new era of Call of Duty, and even if it does well, even if it does bad, if you're enjoying that experience over there, it is thanks to people talking shit, to people not pre-ordering the game, and of course, to Battlefield 6.
What? We're flying to Philadelphia! Oh, hell no!
But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. Do you think Battlefield 6 has destroyed Call of Duty? At least what Call of Duty has been for the last 6 years? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos. And yeah, guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Peace.
This ain't in my body.